If you live in California, the probability that you have electrical blackouts during the hottest parts of this year is very real. You may want to consider investing in a generator in order to have the power to keep those essential appliances running during blackouts. Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that my last few videos have been videos where I showcase a news article. However, I think this is very important, especially for those of you that live in California. You may be going through a period where you have even more interruptions to your power supply. And it's all due to this drought that's going on. So one of my last videos, I said that this drought in the western part of the US has secondary and tertiary effects, meaning that it's not only going to affect the farmers, but that now it's affecting the ranchers. They can't feed or give their cows enough water to keep them, so they're having to call them and to sell them en masse. And now because of the drought, it looks like California may be having issues with providing power to everyone in their state here in the coming month or two, because these hydroelectric dams don't have enough water to push those turbines fast enough to generate the power necessary to distribute to their customers. So like I said, I think this is a very important video, especially for those of you that live in California. This article is telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that here in the coming month or two, some parts of California may be without power. So now that you have this information, and you'll have a little more information here in a minute when I stop yakking and start reading this, but now that you have this information, you can start planning ahead. Maybe get yourself a small generator, especially with the months that we're headed into, July and August. These are usually the hottest months of the year. So if you rely on electricity to give yourself some air conditioning, then maybe you ought to think about getting a small generator or a solar generator with some solar panels, but something that's going to allow you to continue to run those essential items that you need in your home in order to be safe and to continue to live a somewhat normal standard of living. I can understand how in these times of the year, it is very important for some people in certain parts of the country to have air conditioning. And I believe that California is one of those states where it's vital for some regions to have air conditioning. If California's Lake Orville shrinks below 640 feet, low water levels could force officials to shut down a major state power plant for the first time ever. The reservoir could reach benchmarks by the end of August. So you have time to prepare, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I like about putting these articles out. It's that it's not saying, look, this already happened, so there's nothing you can do. I'm just telling you something that's already happened. No, this is something that can happen and will probably happen. Because I do believe that the rainy season in California doesn't start, I think it's in October that the rainy season in California starts. So if you can foresee what may happen in your future, if you live in California, maybe you can take the next month, month and a half or so to prepare for what may be coming down the pipe. It continues to say, putting additional strain on California's electrical infrastructure during the hottest part of the season. In addition to playing a vital role in Northern California tourism and endangered salmon conservation, Lake Orville helps irrigate about 25% of crops in the U.S. annually. A severe state drought is evaporating water supplies faster than normal, leading officials to forecast record low levels in the lake. Jay Lund, co-director of the Center for Watershed Sciences at the University of California, Davis, said about 1,500 reservoirs in California are down 50% from what was expected at this time of the year. The trees along Lake Orville have turned black from the lack of water, while some houseboats perched atop cinder blocks over Memorial Day weekend. In Northern California's Butte County, low water prompts another emotion: fear. The county suffered the deadliest U.S. wildfires in a century in 2018, when 85 people perished. Last year, 16 more people lost their lives in forest fires. While walking along the Bidwell Canyon Trail last week, 63-year-old Lisa Larson had a nice view of the lake. Instead, she saw dry grass and trees. "It makes me feel like our planet is really drying up," she said. "It makes me feel a little tearful because the drier it gets, the more on fire it's going to get." Drought is a part of life in California, where the Mediterranean-style climate means that summers are always dry and winters are not always wet. The state's reservoirs act as a savings account, storing water in wet years to help the state survive during droughts. Last year was the third driest year on record in terms of rainfall. Temperatures in much of California rose to the triple mark earlier than expected over Memorial Day weekend. State officials were surprised earlier this year when the nearly 500,000 acre-feet of water they were hoping to flow into the reservoir never showed up. 1 acre-feet of water is enough to supply up to 2 houses in a year. In the last drought, it took 3 years because they were in the second year of this drought, Lund said. The lake's record low is 646 feet, but the Department of Water Resources estimates it will drop sometime in August or September. If that happens, the state will first have to close the boat ramp because of the low water level. Water levels in Lake Mendocino along the Russian River in North California are so low that state officials last week reduced the amount of water for 930 farmers, businesses, and other junior water rights holders. Unless we immediately reduce the diversion, there is a real danger of Lake Mendocino being empty by the end of this year. Low water levels throughout California will severely limit how much electricity the state can generate from hydroelectric power plants. When Lake Orville fills up, the Edward Hyatt Power Plant and others nearby can generate up to 900 megawatts of electricity. And 1 megawatt is enough power to power between 800 and 1,000 homes. That has led some local officials to worry about power outages, especially as the state ran out of energy last summer during the extreme heat wave that prompted California's first rational blackout in 20 years. But energy officials say they are better prepared this summer, having secured an additional 3,500 megawatts of capacity ahead of the scorching summer months. But ladies and gentlemen, they were probably not planning on these reservoirs going dry to the point that they cannot generate electricity when they secure this extra 3,500 megawatts of electricity. So I'll leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to warn those of you that live in California, be prepared for this summer. Get yourselves a small generator if you can. If you can get a solar generator, do that as well, because you may need it. However, remember that if you get a solar generator, make sure that you get one that has enough of an output that will actually supply an air conditioner. If it were me, I would definitely be getting a gasoline generator and stocking up on gasoline. Because those, in a case like this, where you're going to need to be running a lot of power all the time, a regular gasoline or a tri-fuel or biofuel generator, in my opinion, would work better than a solar generator. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that live in California, I truly hope that you take heed to the warning. Don't wait until the last minute to go out there and try to buy a generator, because there aren't going to be any left. All right, there are not going to be any left. Do your research and then try to figure out which one is the best one for you. You don't have to go expensive. You can go and get something that's mid-range, or get what you can afford that will power those essential items that you will need power for during a power outage. Thank you very much for joining in. I do have a cooking video that I am going to be putting out tomorrow, and I'm doing this for a friend that wants to learn how to cook a Dominican rice dish. And ladies and gentlemen, although I've done Dominican rice dishes before, I think that I've found the very easiest way to make this Dominican rice dish, that anyone can do it. I mean anyone. You don't have to have any skills to do this at all, ladies and gentlemen. All you have to do is be able to follow a few simple instructions. Until then, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper. I am out.